This is Tumani Kamara, and it's time to open up the briefcase with Casey Holdahl.
Greetings, Blazer fans, and welcome to The Briefcase, episode 106 of The Briefcase. I'm your host, Casey Holdahl, and the Portland Trail Blazers are now 2-1 at the Las Vegas Summer League after back-to-back victories, the most recent being Tuesday night, 82-80 versus the Washington Wizards, in a game that didn't look great for either team, at least offensively, but another great defensive performance for your Trailblazers. We'll discuss that game, look at where the Trailblazers are at in terms of the Las Vegas Summer League tournament standings, and hear from Donovan Clingan in my first one-on-one interview with Donovan about the Summer League, the offseason, what he's working on going into his rookie year, and just some kind of get-to-know-you stuff that we really haven't heard yet from Donovan on this edition of The Briefcase. Well, while it wasn't always pretty, and a lot of times at Summer League, things aren't pretty, Trailblazers are able to get their second win in their 3 tries Tuesday night versus the Washington Wizards, 82-80, and the fact that both teams were able to get to at least 80 points in that game, pretty impressive considering how bad both teams were offensively in the first half. Trailblazers especially shot 19% from the field in the first quarter. I think they made just 4 shots, but both teams improved throughout the game, even though neither team ended up shooting better than, I think, 35%. The Trailblazers are a team that are trying to improve defensively, so that game, their game 3 on Tuesday night, actually a really good performance for them. We're able to hold Alex Sarr 0 of 15 from the field. 0 points on 0 of 15 shooting from the field. A team effort there, but I think you got to give a lot of that credit as well to Donovan Clingan, doing a fantastic job holding down the paint, shutting down players both on the perimeter and in the paint, as we've seen multiple times throughout the Summer League play. Donovan making plays all over the court, particularly late in games. Once again, had a great block late in the game on the perimeter to help the Blazers secure the win versus the Wizards on Tuesday. Also did a great job, again, of defending the inbounds. I think there probably should have been a 5-second call on one of the Wizards' late inbounds plays, just as there was when they got the victory versus the 76ers on Monday. They didn't call it. That's just kind of the way 5-second calls go. They don't call every single one of those, nor should they really. But great to see the impact that Donovan is having on the defensive end, and the rest of the team too, actually. You really have to give credit to guys like Justin Minaya, guys like Chris Murray, guys like Rion Repair. All have shown their defensive chops throughout their run here at Summer League, which is impressive not only because the Blazers need to get better defensively, but because a lot of times at Summer League, everyone focuses so much on offense that you just kind of assume that's what players are going to do. The fact that the Blazers are really kind of trying to get it done on the defensive end and not really doing the whole kind of volume scoring, trying to get up as many shots as they possibly can, I think shows that Jonah Hursku and the rest of the Trailblazers coaching staff here in Las Vegas have done a really good job of instilling in this team, this is the way we want to play going into next season. Not so much, this is the way we're going to play in hopes of getting wins here in Vegas. This is the way that we're going to play now, so when we get into the season and we try to do things a bit differently, particularly on the defensive end, we are going to be ready for that, which is what Summer League is supposed to be about, is preparing you for the season. I think the Blazers have done a really nice job of that here in Las Vegas through 3 games, and I imagine they're going to do that in their last 2 games as well. One of those being on Friday, their 5th game being somewhat of a mystery as of right now. But back to Tuesday's win. Again, a very impressive one for the Trailblazers. Bryce McGowan's another strong offensive performance, scored 10 of his 19 points at the free throw line. Kennedy Chandler, who's got the start at point guard the last 2 games, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in 23 minutes. Justin Minaya, 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in 21 minutes. Rion Repair having one of his best games of the Summer League so far, 16 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Rion, who's done a really nice job after a really rough start to Summer League, locking in, kind of settling down a bit, and really coming out and showing some of the best parts of his game right now going into his second season. As I've said this entire time, Chris Murray, another Yalman effort, 7 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block in 31 minutes. For Chris Murray, who's had a very strong Summer League. And again, a guy who is focusing at Summer League on the things that he should be focusing on, not so much like, how can I get so many looks? He only took 7 shots, which when you're a guy who's on the roster, the assumption is like, well, we're the guys who are going to get all the shots. We're the guys that are going to come out here and score. That has not been the case for either Rion or Chris, or Justin for that matter. And that really goes to show the things that they're trying to emphasize here in Las Vegas, which I think is incredibly important, that it's not about, let's go out and get as many buckets as we can, because that's not going to be the role for these guys once the regular season comes around. It's really going to be more of the ancillary roles that these guys are going to fill, at least at this point in time in their careers. And those ancillary roles are really about creating for others and being hard-nosed defensive players. These guys have done a great job of that so far. And when you talk about hard-nosed defensive players, you have to talk about Donovan Clingan. Once again, a great performance for Donovan. 8 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 blocks in 25 minutes. Once again, holding Sarr, the second overall pick of the 2024 draft, to 0 points on 0 of 15 shooting. Now, Sarr hasn't had a great summer league anyways, but anytime you go 0 for 15, you got to give quite a bit of credit to the opposing defense, particularly the on-ball defender. And for the Trailblazers, that's been Donovan Clingan. A fantastic game for him. And again, a guy who not showing a ton offensively. You wouldn't expect that out of Donovan, but really, even for a guy who's known as a defensive player, I think he's already surpassing expectations here in Las Vegas in terms of what he brings on the defensive end, which again, for a team like the Trailblazers that has been in the wilderness for a lot of years now in terms of defense, is such a fantastic thing to see. Really hopeful for what we're going to see out of Donovan Clingan these next 2 games at least, and going into training camp in his first rookie season. I really think at this point, sky's the limit for Donovan Clingan. I think we've seen exactly what you've wanted to see out of him in Las Vegas so far, and I think he's really just scratching the surface there. I think we saw that in that game Tuesday night versus the Wizards. I also think we've seen now after 3 games that the Blazers have kind of settled into some roles on the Summer League team. You got guys like Justin Minaya and Bryce McGowan, who are more kind of instant offense guys. You got guys like Chris Murray and Real Repair, who are more kind of do everything guys who are trying to create for other players, really focusing in on the things they've talked about with the coaching staff, or they worked on with the coaching staff through the rookie seasons, during the offseason, in minicamp, and now at Summer League. And then you've got Donovan Clingan, who's that defensive lockdown presence in the paint. Again, has done a really nice job switching out onto the perimeter as well. He's got multiple 3-pointer blocks, which again, I think one of the questions you had about Donovan Clingan coming into the Summer League, and it's Summer League, these questions are really going to be answered more as rookie season, but the idea of, can he switch out onto the perimeter? Is he able to play within a system that he's more likely to play in the NBA than he saw at UConn? I think, again, first indications are that is not going to be a concern at all. Such an elite defensive player, great skills, great timing, great instincts, that whatever system you put Donovan Clingan in, it seems like he's going to be successful in it. The Trailblazers with still 1 more game to go in preliminary play here in Las Vegas before moving on to either the Summer League tournament or playing 1 more game before heading home. And at 2-1, while the Trailblazers aren't eliminated from qualifying for the Summer League tournament, they do have their work cut out for them. There's multiple teams that are 3-0, a bunch of other teams that are 2-0 going into their 3rd games. And the way it works is that the top 4 teams qualify for the Summer League tournament. Trailblazers have won that twice, so I'm guessing a lot of you out there probably have a pretty good sense of how the Summer League tournament system works. But at 2-1, the Trailblazers have their work cut out for them if they're going to be one of the top 4 teams. It's still possible, but it seems pretty unlikely at this point. So let's go ahead and just break it down real quick here. There are multiple teams, actually 2 teams as of right now, that are 3-0 with 1 more game to play. And then there are, I think, 8 teams that are 2-0 with 2 more games to play. So bare minimum, the Trailblazers are going to need to win their final game on Friday versus the Charlotte Hornets. It is the last game of Summer League, so they'll go into that game probably having a good idea of whether or not they have a chance still to get into the Summer League tournament. So for their part, they're going to need to win that game versus the Hornets, and they're probably going to need to win it by a lot because point differential is the first tiebreaker in terms of a multi-team tie, and there's going to be multi-team ties with only 4 games. Basically, you end up with a whole bunch of teams with the same record, and so the tiebreakers come into play, and they're always multi-team ties. So even if the Trailblazers ended up tied with a team that they beat already at Summer League, that's not actually the first tiebreaker in a multi-team. It is point differential. So you have both the Clippers and I believe the Celtics at 3-0. So you want to root for those teams to lose if the Blazers are going to have any chance to make it into the Summer League tournament. It is a possibility that 2 4-0 teams and then 2 3-1 teams make it into the Summer League tournament, but more likely than not, you want some teams above the Trailblazers to lose. So really, any team that's above the Blazers in the standings right now at Summer League, you need them to have at least 1 loss to give yourself really a legitimate chance to get to the tournament. And then with a bunch of teams at 2-0, the Blazers really need those teams to lose at least 1 game, preferably 2 games, in order to at least activate a tiebreaker scenario. And then after that, the Blazers, as I mentioned, will have to beat the Charlotte Hornets, and they're going to have to beat them by quite a bit, since point differential, as I mentioned, is the tiebreaker. So if by some chance a 3-1 record does qualify you for the tournament, the Blazers are going to need to win some tiebreakers. In order to win those tiebreakers, they're going to have to beat the Charlotte Hornets by a lot of points, because their point differential right now is basically 0. So if they're able to beat the Charlotte Hornets, whatever amount they beat them by is basically going to be their point differential for the Summer League. And if that's the case, you already have a bunch of teams that have point differentials, between 10 and 20 points. The Blazers at basically even right now are going to have to make up a lot of ground there. So going into these last couple of games at Las Vegas, if you want the Trailblazers to qualify for the tournament, you want teams that are at 3-0 or 2-0 to lose, and then you need the Blazers on Friday in the last game at Summer League versus the Charlotte Hornets to win, and to win by a lot. That's an 8 o'clock start time, by the way, as well. Spend your Friday night with the Portland Trailblazers in Las Vegas at Summer League. Last year, they did have an exciting end to the Summer League. They had a chance to possibly qualify if they won by a lot. It didn't end up panning out, but it was pretty exciting, at least in terms of Summer League. So while, I would generally say the Summer League tournament's been, it is what it is. One, players do want those rings. And two, it does give it a little bit of excitement towards the end if there's a lot of teams vying for those last spots, because it creates a situation in which you have teams that are not only trying to win, but are trying to score a ton of points late in games, which, during an NBA season is kind of frowned upon. That happened in the in-season tournament this year, and there was talk about changing that because just the notion that you don't want a bunch of teams that are trying to score late in games to try to make the tournament. I think that actually adds some excitement to it personally. It's just one or two games. It's not like it's going to happen every single game. Guys are getting paid a lot of money anyways, so, I'm not saying you're getting embarrassed out there, guys, but even if you were getting embarrassed, which you're not, you're also being compensated very well for it, so maybe don't worry about it too much. So, once again, to bring this all the way back around to Summer League, Friday, if the Blazers are going to have any chance to make the Summer League tournament, they're going to have to beat the Charlotte Hornets, and they're going to have to do it by a lot. Well, one of the main reasons Trailblazers are still in the hunt for the Summer League Tournament Championship is because of the play of Donovan Clingan, the 7'2" rookie taken with the 7th overall pick of the 2024 draft out of UConn, has done a phenomenal job, once again, locking down the paint, the exact kind of defensive presence you'd like to see out of a player who at 2 seasons at UConn won 2 national championships. Donovan Clingan currently leading the NBA Summer League in both rebounds at 12.3 a game and blocks at 4.3 a game, while also averaging 9 points and 2.3 assists in 25.7 minutes per game. As we've talked about before on the briefcase, big men sometimes have some issues at the Las Vegas Summer League. I think you can probably look at a few other big men playing at the Las Vegas Summer League and notice that. But Donovan Clingan, while he hasn't necessarily got going offensively, doing exactly what you want to see from him on the defensive end. And that's really what matters for the Trailblazers, is what Donovan Clingan can give you defensively at this point in time. And after 3 games, I think you feel very good about what you've seen out of Donovan Clingan. And before the game versus the Wizards, I had a chance to sit down with Donovan Clingan to discuss what he's working on going into his rookie season, his thoughts about Summer League, and then just some get-to-know-you stuff about, what he's like off the court, maybe some of the things he likes, doesn't like, playing alongside the likes of DeAndre Ayton and Rob Williams, life both on and off the court as a big man, and his relationship with Cooper Flagg and the photo he took with Cooper during his recruiting trip at UConn. Really enjoyed talking to Donovan Clingan, such a nice young man, as I kind of talk about in the interview. It's really been great getting to know Donovan just a little bit. Obviously, on the court, I feel like Donovan is going to be a great fit for this team, but off the court as well, from a personality perspective, I think he's going to fit in fantastic in Portland. I think the exact kind of player that you want and need when you're trying to build a culture for a team going forward. So let's go ahead and hear from Donovan Clingan prior to Tuesday's victory versus the Wizards. Here with Donovan Clingan, Las Vegas, Portland Trailblazers 2024 Summer League. Donovan, I guess just initially, your thoughts so far on how Summer League has gone for you, and really just the last month.
I feel like Summer League has been going well. It's a big-time learning experience, just being able to, understand the NBA game, what it's like, the pace of it, how physical it is, the level of skill, but it's been good, just making that big jump and, just try to be as effective as possible, try to learn a lot of things, try to showcase what, I want to showcase. And, but I feel like, especially after last night, the team's in a good spot. We're feeling good and, we're ready to go tonight.
The preparation for Summer League, what was that like for you? I know you talked a lot about how, it was kind of the first chance to really get out of there and play with a lot of people since the title game. Just what was that experience like to kind of get in the building and really get things going for the first time as a professional?
Right, yeah, that first week was awesome. Really just meeting everyone, understanding what the NBA life is like and, how different it is from college on a day-to-day basis. You really just got to lock in on the body, lock in on, taking care of yourself, making sure you're getting better every day. But it's been great. I feel like, Portland has helped me, make a big jump even like in a week, just, with my body, how I'm stretching, how, all the recovery, all that type of stuff. And, it's been, I feel like we have a great locker room with a bunch of great guys. So it's been a real, kind of easy transition, just getting used to playing with everyone because, it's a great locker room with everyone that wants to compete, everyone that wants to win. And, that's what I'm about.
It might be kind of a weird question, but how would you describe yourself personally? You seem like you have such a nice way about you. Like it seemed like you're sunny. You seem very, very open to the world, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very, very outgoing. I got a lot of energy, a lot of pop. I feel like my motor's running all day long. But I'm looking to create relationships. Talk to people. Talk to anyone. I just want to, just be that guy that's always nice, never have that bad reputation, and that's something that means a lot to me is just being a great person.
I guess I would just say, too, it seems like you're enjoying your life. The things that are happening in your life seem like you're really having a good time with it.
Yeah, for sure. I worked hard for, these moments, so I'm definitely going to enjoy them. But, there's a lot more that I want to accomplish, so I'm going to keep working for that.
You obviously played in 2 seasons at UConn, a lot of big games, and 2 national title games. Do you still get nervous? Because you see here at the Summer League, I get a little sense from you every now and then, so I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I do get nervous. Even close scrimmages, no one watching, I get nervous. I feel like we're all human. Everyone. I feel like it's a bad thing if you're not nervous before a game. You know what I mean? You got to have that nervousness in you. You want to play a little bit tense. You want to play, like you have something to lose because you do. You know what I mean? So. I do get a little nervous, but I feel like, I just got to go out there and shoot that ball with confidence.
You talked about the first 2 games, and, I think the first game, I think people kind of saw the idea of Donovan Clingan. I think the second game, I think, was real like, okay, that's what it is. Kind of how would you assess those first 2 games and even the growth that you and the team showed from that first game to the second game, or not even the first game, almost from the first quarter to the rest of the quarters after that?
Yeah, personally for me, really just getting used to the pace, how fast, the game is in the NBA. The first game was adjustment for me. I feel like I rebounded the ball well, defended the rim well in that first game, but, offensively just couldn't find it. It was, wasn't playing like myself, but, once I got that first game jitters out, yesterday definitely felt much better. Went in there with a lot more confidence and, wanted to play tougher. The team, that first quarter, we let them come out and punch us in the face, the other day. And, we battled back in that second half, but it wasn't enough. And, but that second half carried over to yesterday's game, and we were able to put up play a great game against a good Philadelphia team. And, this team's a lot of fun, and you could tell that everyone in there wants to learn and get better.
And, seeing you guys make plays on the defensive end to be able to win that game, the Blazers have had issues defensively for a while now. It's kind of been the talk. Good offensive team, but defensively just haven't really been able to put it together for a while. I think people see kind of the way you guys play, particularly at the end of that Philadelphia game defensively, and I think it probably gets people kind of excited about the prospect of hey, maybe we could actually be a team that does improve on the defensive end.
Yeah, that's something that means a lot to me personally is, defense, just playing the best defense possible, just don't let your man score, and so, I want to be someone that comes in and tries to, help the organization, defend at a high level, play at a high level, win at a high level, and I'm excited to work, excited to learn. I know it's not going to be easy, coming from college right to the NBA, and it's a lot better players, a lot more physical players. But I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to keep working, and I'm going to keep learning.
Where did you hone your ability on the inbounds defense to jump up and down and really
we've been working on it in practice for this past week. During camp before we came to Vegas, we had a lot of practice just working on those late game scenarios, and the coaches never gave me a 5-second in practice, even though I thought a couple of times I might have like a 7 or 8 second, but it prepared me for yesterday when it mattered, and I got the 5-second when it mattered.
What does a 20-year-old do in Las Vegas?
Nothing. Really nothing. For me personally, I feel like a little bit of shopping, walking around. It's hard to go outside because it's so hot. I haven't really done nothing.
Kind of in that same idea, what are some of the challenges of being a big person in the world? And I'm not talking about even basketball, but just, as a large man.
Yeah, it's too tall for everything. Obviously, hit my head on everything. Walking through doorways. Clothes are hard to find. It's definitely difficult to find clothes. And, you always stick out in the public, no matter where you go. You can't really hide. It's hard to miss a 7'2" guy.
Does it always feel like I have eyes on you a little bit? I feel like big men have almost a way about them a little bit, because I think the way that the world interacts with them is a little bit different than it would be for anybody else.
Yeah, I feel like, like I said, just being, the presence of 7'2" obviously makes me stick out a little more. But, I do feel like there's times where I do have, like an eye on me, and I always got to make sure I'm being smart, which I am. I'm always make sure I put myself in the best position to stay out of trouble and have a successful career. So, but yeah, it's not fun being 7'2", but on the basketball court, it's awesome.
It does have some benefits, I would imagine. Have you thought at all about kind of what's next for you after Summer League ends? I imagine in some respects it might be the first chance for you to actually maybe have some downtime, in a while.
Years, yeah. Definitely first time in a couple, 2-3 years that I've had some downtime in the summer. So definitely got to enjoy that, let the body rest a little bit. I'm still going to be working out, still trying to get better, and I'm going to get back to Portland early August and get ready to go to work.
What are maybe some of the things you're most looking forward to in terms of getting ready for that rookie season?
Just getting quicker on my feet. Really just want to defend the rim at a high level, defend the paint, defend outside the three-point line, be able to switch. I want to just keep expanding my offensive game to more, be able to finish around the rim better, be able to knock down shots, consistently. And I just want to do everything I can to get better at whatever coach needs me to do.
The team has a pretty good collection of big men in DeAndre Ayton and Rob Williams and Wap Reith. I would imagine in some respects you may be looking forward to kind of getting in the gym with those guys and learning some things.
Yeah, I'm excited to go out and battle against them. It's Rob Will, DA, two guys that have been in the league for a couple years now that know a lot, played on some great teams, and I'm excited to learn from them, excited to battle against them because that's going to make me better, and hopefully I could challenge them to make them better.
Jacky plays pretty hard. That's kind of what I've noticed is the guy who really goes out there and throws his body around and really tries to cause havoc on the court.
Jacky gives it all to win. Jacky just wants to go out there and leave everything he has on the floor.
Always see you.
Yes.
He's a good guy. I like that, Jacky. Some kind of get to know you stuff that I don't think we really know anything about yet. Like, what's your favorite movie?
Oh, I'm not a big movie guy. I can't sit and watch movies, but my number one movie is Dumb and Dumber. Number one.
Television shows. Do you have a favorite TV show?
No. Sports Center.
Sports Center? Let's say you are a Bristol guy. Yeah, like growing up in Bristol, are there just ESPN dudes just out and about all the time, or how does that work?
I'm really close with Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski. He's been in my corner since I was in middle school. He's helped me out a lot. I've went and toured that ESPN campus a couple times, and it's beautiful. But yeah, you see all those ESPN people around. You're like, you're not used to seeing these people in Bristol.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have a favorite musician then? Do you like music at all?
Oh, yeah, I like rap. A Lil Baby fan.
You're a Lil Baby fan.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That works. I did want to ask you, I saw the photo with you and Cooper Flagg when he was on his recruiting trip. That's kind of a neat thing, too. And I was talking to Chris the other day, and I was mentioning about kind of getting to know guys at Summer League. And he's like, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of time, but, basketball is kind of a small world. And, you end up knowing a lot of these guys kind of throughout the run of things. So kind of interesting there that, two really high-level guys right in the thick of it.
Yeah, Cooper, talented as it could be. He's got a bright future ahead of him. Obviously, our moms played together in college where, that connection started. They were... we're best friends, our parents, and to take that picture with our main jerseys is pretty cool.
That is cool. We talk about players who had dads who played basketball, but I imagine having a mom who played a little bit different, but also probably really, really helpful, a different vibe to it a bit.
Yeah. My mom was, taller than most, men and taller than almost all women, but she was 6'4". She was a beast at basketball. She taught me all the little things that I needed to know, being a big man. But yeah, she just wanted what was best for me. She just wanted me to be happy no matter what it was. Whether that was me going to college and playing, or give everything I got, or just being a regular person with a regular job. She just wanted what was best for me, and that's something I'll always be grateful for.
Great stuff there from Donovan. I really enjoyed talking to him. I really appreciate, one, the time that he gave me, and two, just the way that he kind of conducts himself both on and off the court. He's 20 years old, he's wide-eyed, and it's just really fun to see players who are enthusiastic and excited about not only their careers, but about being on a team going forward. And, as I've talked about this before, sometimes feels like, we get a little shortchanged in Portland in terms of players' excitement about coming to Portland and playing for the Trailblazers. Definitely not the case with Donovan Clingan. I know that he's very excited about his future with the Trailblazers. I think we should be as well. And that's going to do it for this edition of The Briefcase. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, I'm heading back to Portland, but a few more games here in Las Vegas for your Portland Trailblazers before they wrap up their Las Vegas Summer League. The next game being on Friday versus the Hornets. If they win that game, possibility that they move on to the Summer League tournament. If not, playing one more game here in Las Vegas before heading home. But until then, thanks so much for joining me. We'll talk later. I am Casey Holdahl. Go Blazers.